like you're not climbing up the career ladder in a sense. Like, end up it's like, what's your achievement?
Hi, welcome to the very first episode of Cravings Answered. I'm Zachary, and here we have two very lovely returning guests, Ryan and Nicolette. Thank you for coming down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a delicious Korean dinner tonight, and we're also gonna talk about what's it like for the both of you to be both behind and in front the film industry. So maybe you can tell us more about who you guys actually are.
Okay, so besides acting off screen and in front of screen sometimes, I'm actually a camera assistant. That's actually my main source of income, and that's what I freelance as actually. Yeah. You?
Same thing. So I do freelance assistant producer, mostly for drama, so that I can also do part-time acting.
Yeah, so jumping into the first question, please eat
Okay.
before the food gets cold. Thank you.
I'm just curious myself, what's it like balancing both in front and behind the camera as a career?
I mean, for me, I always find it easier because I don't have to necessarily go in front of the screen to act. Like, for me, I can just go to the stage side and just do plays and musicals. I'm fine with that, to be honest. Like, because that was what I started out doing as a kid, so I'm more naturally used to that than being in front of the screen. Yeah. So that's how I separate it, at least there's, because stage is stage, there's no camera needed for that. So you just do that. But if someone wants you to appear on screen, you just also do that. I mean, why not, right? How you do it?
For me, it gets slightly confusing sometimes because the industry is very small. Yeah, like people sometimes they see me as an assistant producer, and then suddenly in the next shoot they see me, what are you doing today? Then they realize I'm acting.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and
interesting.
me being an assistant producer, like I don't only stick to one role. That's also the I wouldn't think it's a problem lah, but then it gets confusing for people also. So like example, you see me just on set for this project as casting coordinator. Then the next project, the same talent sees me. Then they will pitch to me about like their resume. During this period, like I did like certain things. I did certain stuff. Oh, okay. Like like yes, good to know. But then I'm doing locations now.
Right.
So it's like, are you still casting for Channel 5? Like, no. Actually, I'm actually this today. So it gets confusing for them, and sometimes I find it a bit hard to. So I try to draw a fine line. And I also try to keep a low profile for my acting, but it's very hard to keep a low profile because the industry is so small. Everyone knows you. Yeah, people know you, but I just hope that there's no conflict of interest lah, because I have I don't want to say names, but freelance acting. I know freelance acting friends who will be like, so you're doing production now. So you can go and make friends with a casting director. You can go and get roles. That kind?
Yeah.
Like, it helps that you know the people inside, so you can ask them for roles, that kind. But all the while, even when I was doing casting, I do go for auditions, and like, I don't just slot myself in roles. Yeah, I do go for auditions, and I sometimes when I'm too busy in production, even like I don't apply, but people when they ask me whether I can act in certain things. Because I've worked with them before and they know where my skill level is.
How capable you are as an actress lah.
Yeah.
But don't you find it like, would it be strange, like let's say you know who the casting director is and then you're auditioning for that role. So technically he or she is the one auditioning you.
So actually I felt very pressured. Then I feel very awkward also. Because they know me as a behind the scenes person, and when I'm doing behind the scenes and when I'm acting, it's actually very different. Like I'm very different. As an actor, I feel like I'm a bit more
more outspoken.
Right. And also because acting, what I like about acting is that it always pushes me out of my comfort zone. I myself, like Nicolette, is a very shy person. So, but acting actually, surprisingly, when you get into character, when it's between like action and cut, that period, you feel it brings out a certain courage in you that I like, and it actually shows me sides of myself that I never thought I had in me.
Correct.
Like when you try out different characters, you try like a more like mean girl, like a more villain character, and then somehow you can bring out those expressions. Yeah, so sometimes it's really liberating, and I like it.
I think it's liberating because also you get to play somebody who is not you, basically. Because you get to put on a costume, you get to wear makeup, you get to basically play somebody who is not you. So you get to express yourself differently also.
Yeah.
And plus also you have a lot of excuses to do a lot of weird stuff that you don't usually do as an old person, right?
Yeah.
You will never get a chance to act, sing and dance at the same time unless you throw yourself into that kind of pool.
Correct.
And doing enough musicals, and doing like quite a handful of musicals at this point, you actually enjoy the process. So when people see me on stage, right, they suddenly like, oh,
Yeah.
he can actually do all these things. Then suddenly, the next time you go for a karaoke session or they ask you to sing, then you're like, oh shit. I actually don't want to sing one.
People get surprised, right, when they know you as a CA, then suddenly you're like,
Yeah.
whoa. Yeah.
They see you like have this different personality, this very.
I think that makes it very exciting as well.
Yeah, that's why like when I have crew, people come and see my show. Sometimes like, don't be nervous, bro. Just dance. Just dance.
Yeah.
Just don't be nervous. Just dance. Forget it. Just pretend you're not there.
And then they disturb you on stage, right?
Yeah, they'll suddenly sing the song that you sang on stage, and you're just like, it's okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it is liberating because you get to do things that you will not do unless you throw yourself at that end of the pool to like take the amount of risk and just enjoy yourself. Actually, the whole, I don't know about you, but for me, like, I do it because I've always had fun playing different characters. I've always had fun dressing up and trying out different roles that you will not try out unless you get a chance or unless someone picks you. I'm not saying that I have not faced rejections. I have faced rejections on stage and off stage. But it's nice when you finally get that time to shine and you just enjoy yourself. Like, you don't get to play a 17-year-old student who is struggling with life. Maybe not on screen, but maybe on stage. Or you won't get to play like a cross-dressing person. Yeah, and coming from a CA also, like, it's like, this guy actually likes to do all these things.
Yeah, so like 你到底要做什么? It feels like what you want to do. People have been telling me like, oh, if you like acting, just go for it. Like, just do full-time acting. But the problem is, in Singapore, the acting industry is very small.
Correct.
And there's a lot of times where we don't get enough jobs to sustain for the month. Yeah, so I think it boils down to like what you want in the end. Like, do you want to really live like paycheck to paycheck, and even like the paycheck is not enough. And I started exploring what other areas in the industry like interest me. Yeah, so like something that keeps me going while pursuing my hobby, because I cannot like throw my 100% everything into this thing that I'm so unsure that it will work or not. Like,
so I'm very curious. Is it tough to balance the lifestyle?
I mean, yeah, it's easy because we are freelancers. So you have pockets of time to choose what you want to do in between those pockets of time. Like for me right now, I'm actually preparing for a show in October. And I'm doing that while I'm actually doing a long form also. So I guess that's what Nicolette means also. Like in those pockets of time, you have the opportunity to go and do something else, start something else, or just basically throw yourself into something that is not, assistant producing whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah.
Not crew related.
Correct,
But like let's say two big opportunities, one in front, one behind, comes and the schedule clashes, which would you be more inclined on taking?
I do think it depends on commitment, time commitment.
Okay.
So how much commitment do each thing require?
Right.
So actually it happened to me once, just last year. So I was offered a role on a project, a TV drama. And actually, this role is like the biggest role that I have been offered before on like a Chinese drama, and I really wanted to take it up. Yeah, but I had like behind the scenes work to do lah. So I checked with my boss, like if it was okay, and thankfully she's really nice, and then she said like, oh, go for it.
Right.
Yeah, so I did both. Like I was on set and I was also acting. Yeah, so I was doing two things at the same time at the same place. Yeah, and then after I finished, I'm just like, I think I don't want to do this again. Cause I mean, even if it's like a role on the same drama, but on days that I don't have to be on set, it'd be much better because juggling both at the same time is very tiring. So it's like,
It is.
like okay, I need to go and settle this thing, and then in my mind I'm just like thinking about my lines. So I'm like reciting my lines while going to get this thing done.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stay in character as much as I can, and it's also very mentally draining.
Yeah, it is.
Very tiring, especially like everyone like as a CA, then everyone pack ready, go home, that kind of thing, and then you still have to think about your lines. You still have to like try to find time to go out and prepare for things, and also because the paying job, the higher paying job, your full-time job is still the CA, it's still my assistant producer things, and then you cannot let it affect your assistant like producer commitment. Sometimes it clashes, but then I don't know how to say this, but like sometimes I just try to leave earlier and then and then like try to leave a bit earlier, like hurry up, do your things, and after that maybe after my acting and all, I'll continue working. I will continue working on my AP stuff. Like thankfully there's certain things in my line like you cannot put focus outside set what, but I can still work on emails and everything. So there was this time I was also acting on the channel 8 drama, and then I was also first AD for a Channel 5 show. So I talked to my a company who's very nice, like to let me take that 2 days off because it really clashed. And actually that one because I promised the acting side a really long time ago, and I don't want to reject.
Right.
So in between takes on set, in between my scenes, I was just working on my call sheet. Yeah.
I think that takes a certain skill to really navigate that balance.
Yeah, but it's just so funny because I've been to like, you imagine coming into a dance studio, right? They're just dancing, just doing the choreo. You come in with your belt and suddenly like, hey guys, okay, come on, and just put my stuff down. Then suddenly you join the choreo. Then just like, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
It happens.
Shift,
it happens.
It actually takes a lot of mindset.
Yeah.
Shift. And sometimes I also get confused.
Right.
Like, and it takes also, I feel like it takes a lot of discipline and also like commitment. Sometimes actually, honestly, on set, especially when I do first AD, right? On set is like there's so much thinking that you have to do, and then after that you still have to go back and then still have to like memorize your lines and all. So it's we just coffee after coffee,
Correct.
And then the thing is, both are paying jobs, and you cannot like fail at both.
I think moving forward, what's the treatment like when you are both a film crew and an actor?
Generally, I feel like people have always been
Or is it the same?
Nice, but I used to be very afraid of opening up that I also like acting, that I'm also an actress. Also because like I feel like there's a conflict of interest there, especially when people think that I do production to get roles.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's an interesting insight.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it wouldn't cross my mind at all.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, my stand is like joining into production and joining acting is so different. Like, it just doesn't really connect. But please elaborate.
Yeah, like some people think like, like doing production is it's a good thing because you get to know people, and then you get roles, and then like, so you are in this production, so you can just ask them to give you a role lah.
Oh, okay, I understand now.
Like
Because
time.
production, you are nearer to the people who actually cast
see,
people who actually
Yeah.
hire the
I mean, I've heard that a lot of times, but I assume it as like a casual remark, like nothing to be taken so seriously lah. But maybe that's just from
Yeah.
my perspective. Like, you know, it's like, oh, we're just
I just
like...
don't want any misunderstandings to happen. Also,
Right.
also like I don't want to be seen as like making use of like how do you say my production commitments to
Right.
the thing. Like, actually I feel like there's nothing to make use of anyway because I'm at a loss. The production is 3 months and I want to die every day. And then I get like a 1-day road that kind.
Right. I see.
Yeah,
I
but
see.
then I'm just scared that people have this misunderstanding, and when I come on board like as an assistant producer doing things, I hope to keep my other profile like a low profile, whether I'm acting or like I'm an assistant producer, because I feel like I just don't see how like each job like different on different ends of the spectrum can benefit each other. So it's like I rather you see me as an actress, you see me as an assistant producer now.
Right.
So I hope that it doesn't change like their impression of like my working abilities, cause
I see.
whatever that I take on, I will adapt fully to whatever that's needed for me to do, and
Right.
I will give my 100%. So I don't care about who I was before. Yeah.
But do you think this stigma is... What's the word? Like...
It's not as common as it, or what?
Yeah.
I think, right, because, okay, we have to remember that now, right, the film industry is going through
A lot of change.
a lot of changes,
Yeah,
not just because of COVID, but you have a new generation of
Yeah.
film crew coming in.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
basically our generation
Yeah.
coming in to take over this current generation who is about to, not say retire, but they're about to move on to their next stage in the, in the job scope. So we have the ability to control how we view this stigma. We have the ability to control how toxic we want or how flexible we want to give each other space. Back then, right, you ask all your old school generation, right, you ask them what they used to do, they just did their jobs. Now you have people who, they are singers and they're also, like they are in show choirs and they also do tech stuff. So yeah, now this our generation is, we actually do more than just what we do. Yeah, that's why like I don't see why there should still be a stigma lah.
Right.
But I mean, OG people, that's how they are lah. Yeah.
I remember I was in an acting. I went for an acting class. So like my teacher was saying that she asked me what you want to do. Do you want to do acting or do you want to do behind the camera, behind the scenes? That was even before I entered poly. But then I told him like, actually I interested in both. I enjoy doing both. Then he's like, no, you cannot do both one. You will never like both. It's either you like behind the scenes or you like acting. I think maybe to them, I don't know if it's to them, it's like, you know, 半桶水.
Right. I see. Yeah.
Like you do this, you do that. So actually what you want to do.
Correct,
like
correct.
there's no, yeah, like you're not climbing up the career ladder in a sense. Like end up it's like, what's your achievement?
It almost feels like it's a generational mindset.
Correct.
What's your achievement? That kind.
Correct. Yeah, because like, yeah, it's an old school mindset lah, of like, if this is what you want to do, just do this and be good at it. But our generation is like, we want to express ourselves more. We want to do more than just film stuff or do what our job requires us.
Yeah.
Which is why we seek out different avenues of expression lah.
Yeah.
We go for dance classes, we go for singing classes, we go for pottery,
Right.
we go for let me see, like painting, all this kind of stuff. It's just to give us an outlet to express ourselves differently. It's just that sometimes it clashes with what we also do professionally lah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's very hard to don't have a clash lah. I feel.
Yeah.
It's like 多多少少会
I mean, it does help with your mental health as well, right? Like in a sense.
I think all of us, no matter what, like even actors, even like behind the scenes crews, everybody, I feel like they have an outlet or like a hobby that they enjoy themselves in. That so happens that for us it's acting.
It's just that it's just that very old school mentality versus the flexible new school mentality that we are trying to adapt in a way lah. Yeah.
I've always wondered, like now, what's the treatment like as a crew? Especially when you guys are working for people above you. I know in the past, like there has been some stories about negative treatments and just really a lot of ego flying around.
They alienate you lah. They make you feel like,
But
yeah.
I like to believe times are changing, right? But what's it like now? I mean, I'm gonna assume you both have been on a lot more sets than me, so I'm just very curious. Like right now, is there any change, improvement, or is it?
It's more subtle, like I said, because like I said, tech crew, right? It's a lot more accepting because you are kind of far away from people who can get you on screen. So when you end up on screen, it's like, okay, I'm here on the screen now. Yeah, it's not as direct as her when you're literally almost rubbing shoulders with the person who can literally give you a role.
Interesting.
Yeah, there was this instance. There was one instance. I don't want to say names, but then this person, she said this like, I hired you as an actor because it's convenient.
Right.
We know each other. She's like, I hired you because I lazy to cast. It's convenient.
Those were words.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
like, as I was lazy to cast, then like since you're here, then like just get you in that kind. So
I see.
it didn't help me in terms of acting because throughout the whole shoot, I was very, very insecure about like my acting abilities. Like I really wanted to do my best, but I couldn't see myself as an actress. Like it was hard because I just feel like I didn't get there through my own abilities.
Correct.
And then there's like a lot more people who could have gotten the role, who are better than me, but like I'm here because it's convenient.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if she really like means it or what, but it really did affect us. So I was throughout the whole show, I was just trying to prove myself. Like I need to get it right. And then like every time I had an NG take, right, I get so like frustrated. I get so angry. I'm like, yeah, I don't deserve to be here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot in long form, by the way. Like,
Is it?
for long forms, right, because the budget is so flexible, but in a not so flexible way, they have no choice but to sometimes just, you can't write. Come on, you play this character. So long form, it's a very common thing lah, because flexible budget, because you got no time to cast also, so just anyhow pick people.
Right.
Yeah.
I go in.
I think thankfully, and I'm very grateful for this, is that people have been treating me nice as an assistant producer.
Right.
Like, as in, don't care what status or like what's my other hobby or whatever. But then whenever like I'm on set, from the very first day when I was an intern till like now, I've always like on every set I have always met people who are willing to teach me, who are willing to guide me. And I think it also boils down to respect. As long as we give like the older, more experienced ones like the respect, and it's about attitude also. Like when you show that you are willing to learn and like do things with them, they are very willing to teach you also. Yeah. So they are very open to allow me to like do both sides without having another thought that maybe she got another motive, that kind.
Right. That's very interesting.
In a way, also you have to think about this way. We're not talking about the tech side or the production side. You have to think about these people, the acting world. They also have to protect their own rights bowl, their own reputation.
Yeah.
So sometimes they also feel like, why you want to come to my side of the road? Why can't you just stay on your side? But the ones who actually are very open, who are very kind, they will actually compliment that you can do what they do. They will compliment that you can do it as good as them, because it shows that like, hey, there's more talented people in the world. But there's also the other side of like, okay, what this jealousy, like secretly actually, I'm not as good as this person, but this person is better than me, so I must talk back to feel good about myself.
To acting freelancers I think to freelancers also, we all want that one opportunity actually to like to be casted where we can work on our skills. But a lot of times like we're just doing like featured roles, like 1 to 2 lines. I know people who are still doing like 1 to 2 lines after like many years, like 10 years down. So I think to them, when they see that hey, you are getting closer to the people, like the production people, you are doing casting also lah. So they see this as an opportunity, don't know why, but they see this opportunity to cast yourself. Then I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to cast myself. No, I'm not taking on this because I want a role in the show. No. You know, I just want to do this lah. I just want to do this show because I like the genre and I like what I'm doing behind the scenes. So whenever I'm working on like a project, I would make sure that I'm doing my job properly lor. So my job will come first, then acting.
I think it's also the responsibility of the director to give the actor that safe space, and not just like relying on the actor to just cope with the day 100%. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, sure, we depend on you directors to make us feel like we can do the lines.
Because
we can
anyone
do the role.
else, the crew, they won't care. They have their own job, their own commitment.
Correct.
But the director's job is to really, you know, just do his best to make sure that you guys feel safe and to perform and deliver.
Also, as actors, I think we also need to be open also lah.
Yeah,
just
correct. I agree.
Just to throw away that, like, we're actors at that point. We just be actors. We just stick in directions. Don't be pressured.
I guess moving forward, I'm very curious. What are your dreams?
I think on baseline, whatever I do in the film industry, I like this industry. And whatever I do, I hope that it brings people joy and hope.
I guess it does. I mean, that's the whole point of the end product, right?
Yeah, so that's how I got into the industry also. Like I wanted to be the people. So film has been has inspired me in ways in terms of like, you know, when I was a national athlete like when I was younger. And I had to quit. I had to give up. So when I had to give up that sport, I was very upset. And what got me through that period was a lot of movies, dramas, songs, and everything. And then there was when I was like, you know, it's such a great thing to be behind these films.
Yeah.
To be like is either the actor who is sometimes we learn things from characters. Yeah, like being an inspiration to people, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes. It's just great to be part of it.
I guess to end off this segment, I'm going to throw you one last question. If you have only one chance to take up a job for a lifetime, would it be in front of the camera or behind?
要回答吗？再填我 away.
Such a heavy question. Okay lah. I mean, okay. But to be honest, would I rather be Roger Deakins or Brad Pitt, right?
Sure.
Okay lah, Roger Deakins lah.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. Because okay, honestly, right, I'm okay with just being behind the camera because I like taking photos. So like I like capturing things. Yeah, it's just so happens that I also have this ability to do acting and stuff like that lah. But at the end of the day, like, if you give me a camera, I'll always hide behind it. I always prefer to just like capture what's in front of me than simply be in the experience lah. Yeah.
Okay. And you?
I think producing is it?
Yeah.
Actually producing.
Okay.
Producing. Because right now my heart is leaning more towards like exploring the creativity side of filmmaking, like really like conceptualizing and watching my product come to life. And then the good thing about producing is that you produce right, so you can act right.
Sure.
So eventually you still go inside, right?
Yeah.
So if I produce and I do well, and then I open a company, and then I can like, you know, 谁可以讲我? I can just go and say, I'll act today.
You're the
I'll
boss.
act
You're the
today.
boss.
Yeah, that's why you're your own boss.
Yeah. So it's
Great.
producing, guys. It's producing.
It's nice to hear from the both of you. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you for the food, man.
And that's all the questions I have for you today. So if you find them familiar, that's because the two of them actually acted in past short films before. You can check down the links below. And if you enjoy this video, please don't forget to subscribe,
like this video,
and press the notification bell.
See you in the next video.
Bye.